Hi, I'm Wilka, a U.S. licensed immigration lawyer, and I'm here to talk about the differences between a direct EB5 and a regional center sponsor EB5. Many of you have heard about EB5, but some of you may not know that there's actually a difference in two different ways that a person can apply for an EB5. It could be direct EB5 or regional center EB5. Now, I have to tell you that about 95% of all EB5 applicants go the regional center EB5 way, and there's really good reason for that. Let me explain. The direct EB5 is a way that a person can invest the required capital of $800,000 or $1,050,000, depending on the location of your business, into their own personal business, which then they have to fully operate and create and maintain 10 American jobs with all of the responsibilities that includes. Now, the Regional Center Sponsor EB5 is a program that was created in 1991 to facilitate the EB5 way. In other words, an EB5 investor in a regional center program actually has many more benefits and flexibilities than the direct EB5 investor. And that is why the majority of EB5 applicants worldwide throughout the history of the program have applied through the regional center EB5 path. Now, why is it more flexible? The regional center EB5 actually requires that the regional center and the development project be submitted to USCIS for pre-approval. That is called a 956 pre-approval application. That means that the business component and the structure of the business is actually going to be pre-approved by USCIS, the Federal Immigration Agency. Therefore, that's not going to be a problem by the time the EB5 investor applies. In other words, that's a settled issue, no questions about the project. It will meet the requirements, assuming it gets pre-approved. Then the regional center also is able to combine the funds of many EB5 investors, however many are necessary for the investment total of the development of the project. So it can actually pool or combine many investors. The direct EB5 path does not allow the combination of several investors. Only a single investor can apply in a project or a business in order to be able to benefit from the EB5. Another disadvantage of the direct EB5 and an corresponding advantage for the regional center program is the job creation, which is very important in EB5. EB5 requires the creation of 10 American jobs per investor. If you do a direct EB5, those employees have to be full-time employees, what we call in the United States W-2 employees on a full-time basis. In the regional center option, those jobs do not have to be exclusively full-time employees. The regional center gets the credit for job creation for direct employees, W-2, for indirect employees like contractors, part-time employees, and also induced employees, which means those employees that exist because the development was created and in the surrounding areas, job creation is generated. So as you can see, it's easier to reach the amount of employees that are necessary for the EB5 investor to get their EB5 condition removed later. So much more flexibility and security going the regional center way. The last thing that I want to explain to you is that often it's very difficult for a foreign person to operate a business successfully in the United States at the beginning of their journey into the United States. You don't know the laws, you don't know the language often, you don't understand the business environment, the financial environment, and sometimes it can be very challenging. Also, it's very costly to have 10 full-time employees because labor costs are higher in the United States. So that makes a direct EB5 somewhat risky and very expensive. So regional centers take care of the job creation. You are a passive investor You don't have to be involved, and you will not be involved in the operation of the business. That is already a matter that's being handled by the regional center and the project developer, who will be running the business, creating the jobs through construction of the real estate and development for you and each of the EB5 investors. Prior to an EB5 project being sold and marketed worldwide, the regional center knows how many jobs will be created through expenditure of funds, construction funds. So they can forecast how many jobs they will be able to complete. These forecast studies are done by experts and economists well versed in this area. So the job creation is much more flexible and much more secure and safe. That's another reason why the majority of people go the EB5 regional center way. And the last reason is EB5 has very strict requirements on how to run the business. There are very strict requirements on the usage of the money. You just can't simply use it any way you want. Now, if you do a direct EB5, then you're going to have to run your company and operate it and use the investment funds the way that the EB5 requirements will tell you to use it. And that may or may not be necessarily what is convenient to you or necessary for your job, for your company. Therefore, that could be a problem as you develop your company. Regional centers know exactly how to use the funds because they have to portray and show the use of funds to immigration from the very beginning to get the pre-approval. They are experts in how to properly use the funds. They understand the EB5 program. Most regional centers have been doing this for over 15 years. And that is why going the regional way is perceived to be the safest EB5 way and the more convenient way. Now, if you want to do a direct EB5, by all means, I would encourage you to work with a very experienced EB5 lawyer that understands how to do a direct EB5. And if you decide to do the regional center, as the majority of EB5 applicants are currently doing, likewise, work with an experienced EB5 attorney that knows how to work with regional centers. I'm here to support you. I'm Wilka Toppings with Toppings Consulting Group in Vietnam and Toppings Law Firm in Houston, Texas. Thank you.